Hey folks, quick apology up at the top here. We had some major audio sync issues in our last episode, and I tried really, really hard to fix it, and unfortunately was not able to, so there's like a few minutes where we talked over each other. Really sorry about that. I'm hoping we have resolved that now, but there's a chance that it's a mess again, so I'm recording this intro as a little safety to myself to apologize again. If it's a mess again, I can just leave this here and apologize. Hoping it's not an issue this time. Please, please, oh please. Welcome to Dissecting the 80s. I am Trip Lano, one half of the Mega Podcasting Powers. And with me, as always, is my tag team partner, a man who will be your friend till the end, the Macho Mandrew.
Andrew Lano. Didn't know where that one was going.
I was trying to do the Chucky thing.
I got it. It took me a second, because always...
Yeah, you're going to make it weird. I can see it in your face.
I'm not going to make it weird.
I can see your little smirky nonsense faces on it, and don't make it weird. This is a public forum. Just remember that.
I didn't make it weird. Trip does Muppet stuff.
Don't make it weird.
Hashtag Trip does Muppet stuff. I'm not making it weird.
Say whatever you're going to say, but don't make it weird.
No.
That's all I'm asking.
I'm not.
Okay.
That's not making it weird.
We are continuing our mini two-part horror run here because they're making another Annabelle movie.
Good Lord. How those shysters, are they still alive to rake in this money?
I feel like one of them is, but maybe not. I haven't looked in a while, but this is yet another movie lining the pockets or the estate pockets of one
Elizabeth and something. No, it's not Elizabeth Warren. That's the
Elizabeth Warren is the senator.
It's the influential woman.
Is it not?
Icon.
Is it not Ed and Lorraine Warren?
That's it.
Okay, I thought that's. I could. It took me a minute, but anyway. They of the Amityville Horror and other such nonsense.
I get real Liz Lemon about them sometimes.
Yeah, no, it's reasonable.
Like, because they're just they're fake.
Yeah.
They're fake and they're phony. And, like, I get real aggressive about it sometimes. I'm like, oh, I refuse to watch their shit because they're not real. Like, they made everything up. And people are like, what are you talking about? I'm like, they literally made it up over a bottle of wine. Like, there is admitted court evidence of that happening.
Yeah, we've gone over that.
It's my soapbox.
But the other thing too is just like, why? Just don't call it based on true story. Just like don't like they're good at making up stories. I acknowledge that they are. They're good storytellers.
And that's a talent.
Yeah, like many people have made many millions of dollars over being good at that job. Anyway, we wanted to watch the original. Well, maybe not the original, but perhaps our favorite creepy doll movie, Child's Play.
It terrified me as a child. Sorry.
I would think after like 75 episodes, the rhythm of like, oh, Trip's about to do the part where he needs me to do the Doc Brown part would be like an innate thing. But no, 2 episodes in a row where I'm like, and you're like, well, yeah, but
I like tangents.
I mean this with all of my heart. Can you shut up for 14 seconds and then do your part and then say whatever you want? We watched Child's Play from 1988, so you know what that means.
We gotta go back. We gotta go dissect the 80s. It's your good guy. Something's gotta be done about your good guy.
When the mega powers explode.
I'm talking about the 80s. Oh, yeah.
Great Scott!
Cream of the crop. Oh, yeah.
Mega powers, yeah!
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
I almost interrupted you again just to be funny.
I would have quit. I would have quit the podcast.
Just throwing your laptop out the window.
Like, put it in a chipper shredder, throwing the microphone out, and just walked away. Like, I'm done. I'm out. So I hadn't watched this movie in a really long time. And it was really fun to revisit because I had forgotten a lot more of it than I would have expected to forget. And it was a really enjoyable watch, getting to play with this movie for a few hours.
Yeah, this is one of those... I literally forgot the phrase for a VHS rental place. I was like...
a video store.
That's how 2017 it is, but I was like... This was one of those video store movies for me. I always used to, because they always had the coolest covers, and the horror movies had the coolest covers, and they always scared me. Even as a child, there was like a fun scare, and I remember seeing this one, and it freaking me out. And then like So the concept of Chucky terrified me to the point where, like, we were in a mall once. I don't know if you remember this. We were in a mall once, and there was a store. It was probably like a Spencer's or something that had like a Chucky doll on display in the window, and I like could not walk past that store.
I don't remember that, but that sounds about right. You were a pretty scaredy cat kid.
Which is weird considering, like, I love horror now, and then as, like, a young thing, I needed Mom to read me, like, scary stories to go to nap time.
Yeah, I don't
So
know.
there was a weird period in the middle there where...
I mean, I was a huge wimp as a kid, too, so maybe it just runs in the family, wimpitude as a child.
Yeah, but there was, like, so I mean, like, I started off brave, had a brief lapse in the middle, and then I'm back.
Right. So this movie starts with some very unsolved mysteries sounding music and a police chase.
And gunshots straight off the great movie ride.
Yep. Big loud bangs.
Bang!
Yeah. And Charles Lee Ray is running away from a police officer, and he goes to hide in a toy store, like you would. And this cop chases him into the building, and they have a little, like, gunfight in a toy store, which I've not seen very often as far as gunfights go, and I was kind of into.
And the craziest thing is that I want to say 90% of the toys in that store were, like, actual toys with their real branding.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I was not expecting to see so much. I wonder if there's some way to get away with it if you're showing a toy store and you're not talking about the products, you're just like walking past them, if you can do that. I don't know.
I think in the 80s probably, but like he literally, like the murderer who looks like Tommy Wiseau.
He does look like Tommy Wiseau. It's Brad Dourif, by the way. We know that. Don't tweet at us. We know who Brad Dourif is.
Is standing in front of like a standee for Barbie and the Rockers. And I have to imagine that Barbie would have been like, fuck no.
Right, yeah. I couldn't imagine that they would clear Barbie, but I guess they did.
Barbie didn't approve Toy Story till the third movie.
Well, that's the thing, though.
Or second movie.
The thing. Barbie would have been a character in Toy Story, but Barbie is just on a toy shelf in this movie. So maybe it's different when it's...
I don't know, because for me, I think because it was like a big cardboard display standee for Barbie.
Yeah, certainly it had to get cleared.
There's no way that was just like an accident.
Right.
Like, well, it's in the movie, too late to change it.
Right. Anyway... They're having this gunfight in the toy store, and the credits are rolling. And I noticed, this is one of those things, sometimes we watch movies and they show you, I've seen a bunch, and you always pick up little weird stuff when you're kind of viewing it with the podcast lens. The font for Child's Play and the credits is really weird.
So weird.
It's all capital letters except for the letter I, and then maybe one or two other letters, but... A is lowercase.
But they're the same size as the capital letters. It's weird.
And it's one of those things that, like, who on earth would possibly notice this thing? But I, in my day-to-day, am...
You and me?
Well, yeah. But also, in my day-to-day, I'm, like, a writer, editor, and I approve a lot of posters and signs and flyers, and, like, I'm supposed to look for stuff like this. So I would have, like, circled this with a pen and been like, hey, is this supposed to look like this? Because it would stick out to me.
It should.
Yeah. Well, sometimes designers do things that I don't agree with, but I, defer to their skill set as being the designer, and I'm the words guy. Anyway, He shoots Charles Lee Ray.
The cop does.
Yes. And the guy is, like, laying in a pool of blood, and he's like, I gotta find somebody. He's crawling around. And he grabs this doll and opens the package and starts... His
blood doesn't stain anything. Did you notice that?
Yes, okay. We were just about to talk to that.
He gets shot and he like reaches his hand into his chest and does the classic like, oh, my hand's soaked in blood now. He knocks over a display, like a pyramid display of these dolls, grabs one box, pulls the doll out of it, puts his hands all over it, and like not a speck or handprint or smear of blood to be smear. That's not a smear of blood.
Yeah, wrong emphasis there. It is a smear.
And everything bagel with a blood smear, please.
Yeah, it's totally bizarre because I wrote that down shortly after of like who cleaned this doll?
Yeah.
Like, how did it get in a box?
Who cleaned the doll in the box?
Yeah. I don't quite understand what happens, but it's one of these leaps in logic that sometimes drives me batty with the movie, where this cop walks up to this thing where a dying man puts his hand on this doll and is chanting nonsense, like weird, crazy psychobabble nonsense. And then lightning comes through the ceiling. And the cop, when weird shit starts to happen, isn't like, when I shot this guy, he started babbling nearly incoherently and then got struck by lightning. Perhaps there's
kind of in French.
What's that?
It's kind of French.
Oh, I guess that makes sense because we find out later it's like a voodoo ritual, so that would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, that cop should be much more in tune with there being supernatural weirdness happening in this movie. It shouldn't take him...
For a detective, he's not detecting a whole lot.
Yeah! I mean, if you're gonna take this guy and show him this in the beginning, he should buy in much more readily when he finds out stuff is weird.
Yeah, like, you were there, bro. You watched it happen.
Yeah, and so when the lightning strikes, there's this awesome explosion. The first of a couple really great explosions in this movie. No expense was spared in the explosion department.
Spared no expense. That wasn't a good one. I haven't seen Jurassic Park in a minute. That wasn't a good one.
No, that was a weak effort.
That was generic old man.
Yeah, it was not John Hammond. I don't know what it was, but it was not John Hammond.
We cut to a living room. There's a banner that says "Happy Birthday." There's some Good Guy wrapped presents. Good Guy was the brand of doll. I don't know if we mentioned that.
Yeah, I don't think we did. Which is like a little too clever for me. I'm sorry. It's a little too clever.
It's a dumb name. It's a dumb name for a product.
But also, it's supposed to be. Oh, it can't be the Chucky doll. He's a good guy.
Oh, I didn't
get that. It's a little fart sniffy.
Well, it's based on the My Buddy doll.
Yeah, but you could call it your pal.
Well, it's weird. They didn't say it was a My Buddy doll, but everything about it was a My Buddy doll.
Right. This kid is a nightmare, by the way. Like an absolute terror. He's making breakfast.
And that was so you loved Ninja Turtles growing up.
Yeah.
And I loved pretty much everything Disney.
Yeah.
So I don't think either one of us at one point ever consumed, wore, watched, played with this much merchandise of one specific thing at one sitting.
No, never. I don't think any child in the history of the earth has done this.
This kid is wearing Good Guy pajamas, which include pajama sneakers, which make zero damn sense. Pouring a bowl of Good Guy cereal, watching Good Guy the cartoon show. There's Good Guy wrapping paper on the presents. Yeah. We later see that there's Good Guy branded cake mix.
Yep.
So, I just want to... what?
It's like Spaceballs.
It really is.
I mean, it's the scene in Spaceballs, and it's just in a regular movie, and it's not a spoof.
Yeah.
But, in addition to what you just described, he's making toast in the toaster. First he puts the toast in the wrong way, and then he has to flip it the correct way, which I realize it doesn't really matter, but still. Then he pours the cereal into the bowl, and first of all, this cereal has several different sized pieces of the fake alphabets that are in there. There's some large flat ones that are like the size of those super great bread pieces that you get into Chex Mix.
Yeah, and then Peeps.
Yeah.
There's straight up Peep-sized marshmallows in this cereal.
So he dumps 4 cups of cereal into a 2-cup bowl, spills it everywhere. He gets the biggest spoon I've ever... Like a serving spoon for a buffet table at a wedding.
A ladle.
And ladles 4 big spoonfuls of sugar in. And then he starts glugging in the milk, and he just pours milk all over the TV tray thing that he's putting this in.
Yeah, his age is bizarre, because if he were 2 years younger, I could forgive this breakfast sequence. Right. But he's not. I don't know how old he's supposed to be.
I think they say it's either his 5th or 6th birthday.
Because I think at that point, bro, you should know. Don't do that.
Yeah, and then
you know how to pour a bowl of cereal,
right? Or you know that you can't.
Know your limitations.
Yeah, exactly. So he pours this messy, disgusting. Not only is it sugar cereal, but with 4 ladles of sugar on top. Dumps the milk everywhere.
My teeth hurt just looking at it.
Yeah. The toast burns.
Because he's watching the commercial with the horrifying mascot.
Before you get too far into discriminating against that mascot, did you recognize the voice?
I should. Who was it again?
It was Isaac. From Children of the Corn.
Oh, are you serious?
We backdoored into a related movie thing again.
My idea is coming to fruition accidentally.
Yep, I was listening to it with headphones, and I was like, "Wait, that was 100% that kid." And I paused it, and I went and looked it up, and sure enough, he's credited as Walkabout Chucky.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. Weird connection to our previous entry in the show.
Still terrifying to look
Oh,
at.
yeah, it is fully, like, the creepiest thing I've ever seen. It is a Cabbage Patch doll that's, like, full-grown human-sized.
It's a Muppet human. It's a human-sized Muppet walking.
Yeah, Sweetums. Sweetum size.
No, because Sweetums is supposed to be that size. I'm talking like a tiny Muppet.
Oh, with just like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Honey, I Blew Up the Kid to a Muppet. Yeah.
Real weird.
It is. But so he's watching this thing, which is the second time in 2 episodes that we've had. By God, that's Isaac's music, which I really appreciated. He burns the toast, and he takes this burnt toast out of the toaster. I don't know how much Ambien this woman takes on a nightly basis, but if your kid is able to burn 2 pieces of toast and essentially start a fire in your kitchen and you don't wake up, it's too much Ambien.
I mean, but we've also seen this kid already, so I agree with that.
I mean, I don't begrudge her, but also, think about your life a little bit. But he then takes the same ladle that he got sugar out with and gets a baseball-sized amount of butter and puts it on this piece of toast. I'm sorry that we're talking about this breakfast for like 10 minutes, but it was really ridiculous. Like, it was...
Yeah, it's insane. The other insane part to me is that Isaac, giant guy, is in the commercial saying, now you can finally have a good guy of your very own, which means they merchandised cereal, pajama sneakers, wrapping paper, and cake mix.
Yep.
And probably 8,000 other things before they made dolls.
Right, including accessories to play with your doll with, because later when he opens his present, which is not a good guy doll, it's like some good guy doll accessories, she says, I didn't know about the doll in time enough to save up money. So they released accessories for a doll that didn't exist.
Yes. Also, kind of a dick move on her part.
Yeah, no, we'll get there. Hold on. I have one more final thing about the food. He spills milk all over this house. I have never felt more like Howie Mandel in my entire life. But he just spills milk all over the carpet of this house. It would smell so rancid in there. I'm sorry, but I couldn't get over the milk everywhere.
You need to get Stanley Steamer up in there.
You need to get a fireball to ritually cleanse this kitchen because it's done. It's over with.
He's carrying it on like this like clear lucite Patrick Bateman tray.
It really does look like Patrick Bateman.
To give her breakfast. And it's like, what? Also, she goes, it's 6:30 in the morning, and the sun is fully up. I don't know where the hell they are.
They're in Antarctica, where the sun never sets.
Yeah. I was like, it's not 6:30 in the morning, lady. You're just telling your kid that so he'll go to sleep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Chicago doesn't have just 24-hour sunlight. I've never been to Chicago, but from what I understand, it is not 24-hour daylight.
That's not how it works there, no.
It is not the opposite of 30 Days of Night.
I think that Alaska town does have a few days straight of sunlight.
Probably. If they have a few days of
I think
darkness.
like the opposite happens.
Yeah. So he wakes her up and he's like, hey, Mom, I made you breakfast in bed. And she picks up the toast and the butter baseball falls off it. And she's like, I'm going to eat this later, okay? And he nods and I'm like, oh, thank God. Because if I had to watch her eat this and throw up all over her child on his birthday, I was going to be very upset.
Well, I was hoping there was going to be like a fake pot, like a potted plant, and she was going to be like, why don't you go to the bathroom and get in my glasses? And she was going to like scrape it into the plant.
She dumps the cereal in, and the plant instantly wilts and dies from all the sugar.
Yeah. It's some Little Shop of Horror shit.
The plant got diabetes somehow.
The plant sprouts a mustache and says, I'm Wilford Brimley.
So he's begging to open his gifts, and she's like, no, we have to wait. And he's like, no. I'm like, that's pretty cruel to make this kid wait for his stuff. But then she goes, oh, it's time for your birthday. I don't know what the word, some word she uses. In our family, it was called a raspberry, where you like blew on the belly of the baby. I've heard other people call it other things, so I was just trying to explain what it was. But this kid is pretty old for raspberries. Right?
Yeah, five or six feels.
As soon as they can talk, I think raspberries are done. Like, I think that's about the threshold.
No, I think you get like a year or two after talking age.
Okay, so he's definitely 2 or 3 years overdue.
Yeah, no, I agree he's still too old.
It was a little weird to me.
Well, it's also weird that this mom put a single pair of jeans in a doll-sized box.
Thank you. She picked a box that was exactly the size of the toy he wanted. Like, that's very mean.
Yes. It's like when mom and dad got you the vacuum cleaner and put the TV inside.
Right.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think that was right. But see, that was that though. What the equivalent would have been was a TV box with a vacuum in it.
Right. Yes.
The
opposite.
They did the fun goof of like, open it, it's a vacuum, ha 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 ha. I'm like, okay, what? I don't know why I got a vacuum for Christmas, but thank you, I guess. And then open it up and see the TV that I had been coveting.
Well, here's the real rub. So he picks up the big one, thinking it's the doll, and she's like, "Don't you want to open the little one first?" And I was like, "So you want him to open the tiny like toy tool chest first, and think he's getting the doll?"
Yeah, no, that's really... I didn't think
Like,
about that until just now, but that's even more effed up.
Yeah, she's not a good mom or a well-written character, but...
She's certainly not a well-written character.
No. She's got all the dimension of Flat Stanley.
So they cut to work, and she's there working a jewelry counter at a department store, which looks a lot like... It's not, but it looks a lot like the one in Mannequin. And
or from Christmas Vacation.
Yeah. Actually, that is probably almost definitely the same one from Christmas Vacation because both these movies
you're
are
right.
set in Chicago. So it's probably definitely that. Anyway, her friend is awesome. I love the sassy friend. I love her. She's great. And she's like, "What was that toy you wanted to get your kid? There's a guy outside, a peddler outside who I think has one." So she leaves her post and she goes to see what the deal is. And there's this toothless homeless man with a shopping cart full of wares that many people are like pouring over outside this and picking up his various things.
It's a very like opening of Aladdin moment where he's like, "Look at all my things to buy."
Yeah, he's basically Bubbles from The Wire, which I know you're not going to get as a reference, but
I'm not gonna get that
like
one.
People out there are going to get. And I admire this gentleman's entrepreneurship. But also, he sells her a cursed Chucky doll for $30 instead of the $100 that it costs. He
doesn't know it's cursed, though.
That's true. He didn't do it on purpose. Also,
yeah,
in today's money, that's a $205 doll, approximately.
Yeah, like holy hell.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
although I don't know, are American Girl dolls that expensive?
Yeah, I think they're over $100. I don't really know. I know they're expensive enough that I find it preposterous, but I don't know the number.
I would say over 100 feels right for America. I mean, feels like the correct number that I've heard of for an American Girl doll. I don't think it's the right price. I mean, they're well made. Blah, 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 blah. Heirloom, blah, blah,
We're
blah.
not here to crap on the American Girl doll industry.
No.
They sue. We know. Anyway, the two of them buy this doll, and the sassy friend tells off the homeless guy, and they go back inside, and we meet her boss, who I believe is Walter.
That sounds sure.
His name is
that
Walter,
right.
the character. He's only in it for this one scene, but this dude clearly had the time of his life playing this character.
Yeah, it was. I think him and the best friend, Dinah Manoff, are like They're like, "Hey, I'm here to have a good time."
Yeah. I'm working on this movie for 3 days. It's about a doll that no adult human can seem to best in a fight, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, no.
So I'm just going to lean into it. And I was
hoping he was going to die.
I honestly was too.
They like played it up like, "Oh, look at this like smarmy bastard. He's going to get it."
Because I was expecting him to kind of be like, "Oh, do you need a ride home from work?" Like that kind of sleazy slime. And then Chucky like does him in when he's driving away or something to I don't know, steal his car or whatever, because Chucky does all sorts of crazy nonsense
like
in the movie.
Like she left it in the back seat of the car and Chucky kills him and then drops himself off at the door.
Oh, I was thinking like Chucky was trying to kill her and he missed, and instead he gets the boss.
Yeah. Either way, I was surprised the boss lived.
So she finds out from Walter the boss that somebody called out of work and she has to stay and cover her shift. And when the best friend is like, "Oh, I'll do that," he's like, No, you work in shoes. This is jewelry. And I don't want to besmirch anybody who works in a department store, but I feel like the person who works in perfumes or jewelry or shoes can probably cover for one another for like 3 hours without anybody being too aware of the change.
Because, like, here's the thing. It's not like it's Christmas time and there's a big rush. It's not like it's a name brand counter. She's putting it like our grandmother wears those, like, plastic bauble jewelry.
Yeah.
Like, costume jewelry. And that's what she's hanging up. It's pink plastic hard opaque pink pearls.
Right.
So what it's not like there's commission to be made.
Yeah, nothing
This isn't the Chanel counter.
But it's also not like bougie $5,000 jewelry pieces either that somebody with some knowledge of diamonds and metals is going to have to be there. It's, like you said, costume jewelry. But anyway, she's like, don't worry, Aunt Maggie will watch your kid and it'll be great.
Yeah.
So there's this weird line of dialogue that only exists to explain this situation in the movie where the boss is like, you can go home at 5, but you got to come back at 7. So that there's a scene where the mom goes home with Andy, gives him the Chucky doll, and then leaves to go to work while Maggie is there. And it was one of those things where there has to be a smoother way to get to the situation that you need to get to in this movie than this. But like easily it could have been Maggie brings the package home and the kid opens it greedily and then wakes up Chucky. Like there's a million ways to get to the end of this.
Yeah, I guess mom had to be there for some reason because she bought it. Right. I don't know.
So Aunt Maggie's there at home, and there's a brief news thing that's like, ooh, Charles Lee Ray's partner has run away from the police and escaped custody. And then the kid leans over to listen to Chucky, and he's like, Aunt Maggie, Chucky wants to watch the 9 o'clock news.
And here's my first gripe. So, that kid would have memorized every single thing the doll was supposed to do, and would have known exactly that it wasn't supposed to do this. When I was a kid, I could tell you what phone number to call to order the As Seen on TV toy that I wanted for Christmas. I could parrot that off to you. Yeah,
and also, the point at which Chucky says she was a bitch who got what she deserved, the kid would be having a meltdown. Like,
yeah, he's way too okay with this.
I wrote that down like shortly after this next sequence that takes place. The fact that Chucky is asking to watch the 9 o'clock news and talking to this kid like he's a real person should make this kid shit his pants.
Yes. Well, I think okay. So in an original draft, I did a dime's worth of research on the Googs. In the first draft, it was more psychological and Chucky came to life because for some reason the dolls could bleed and there was a blood oath scene.
The dolls could bleed?
Yes, the dolls had lifelike skin and could bleed, and you bought special
bandages. What would the purpose of that be to play with as a toy?
You could buy special bandages. It's like Baby Peas-a-Lot, but like weirder.
No, it's not like Baby Peas-a-Lot because Baby Peas-a-Lot is a child replicating being a mother. What would the other toy be for except training small murderers?
So apparently it was there's a blood pact, and then Chucky became the manifestation of Andy's loneliness of his quote unquote deadbeat mom.
Wait, the mom is not the deadbeat. The dad is just dead.
The original script was like she's a single mom and a deadbeat as a result because this movie is awful to women.
Clearly somebody bought this movie based on the idea of a doll coming to life, read that script and was like, nope, and threw it away.
No, absolutely not. Fix this. So I'm guessing it's part of that.
Just rewrite this.
Like that might be like a skeleton of the original, or like that's why he's not freaking out because Chucky's like going after people who are in his way.
I mean, to be fair, this kid does seem very lonely. We know that his dad died. We know that the mom is struggling. The kid doesn't seem to have many friends. But I lose my patience with the kid very quickly in this movie.
I do.
Because he acts like a crazy person.
That's what Andrew rewrites the movie. The first time Chucky kills, in like 2 seconds, I was like, oh, are we supposed to not know if it's Chucky or Andy? Because I'm here for that movie.
Right, way more interesting.
I am on board for that. And then within like 2 minutes, that is quickly debunked. Which is frustrating, because I was like, why can't that be the movie? I want to watch that movie.
The audience not knowing for a while would make this much more interesting, but I don't know how you would do that
trailers
with the whole also the weird chanting and touching the doll scene in the beginning.
I think it would have to not have that element. Like you wouldn't be able to show that as clearly. It would just be a very weird. Like there would be the fight in the toy store, although because there's no indication that doll that she bought is the same doll until.
No, but that is true. You do kind of have to put it together. Anyway, Plot-wise,
There should have been a bloody handprint on the damn box.
agreed. At least one hastily scrubbed off. So, anyway, she tells the kid to go to bed, and he starts brushing his teeth. And again, with the mess making, this kid gets toothpaste foam from his neck to his waist, basically.
he's so disgusting.
He's just a like. I know we've talked before about kids in movies where they just look sticky. Like, this kid is just constantly sticky. Just a full-on glazed child, basically.
And here's the thing. He's not terrible the entire movie as an actor.
No, he's fine. I mean, he's not great, but he's fine.
He's got bad moments and good moments. He's a pendulum, I'd say. So she puts Andy to bed and immediately decides, I'm just going to hang out in the dark and watch TV. What? Why are you in the dark?
And also, she goes to tuck the kid in, or she goes to do something in the kitchen, and then the TV clicks on, and it's the 9 o'clock news. So they're like, Charles Lee Ray's associate, I don't remember his name, I have it written down later, Eddie, escaped police custody. And she comes, grabs Chucky, and goes into the kid's room, where the kid is like tucked up under his chin and not breathing heavy like he would be if he sprinted back and hid in his room. And she starts berating him like, I can't believe you disobeyed me, get in bed, throws him in there. Throws Chucky in next to him and is like, just go to bed. Like, I can't believe you did that to me. And he's like, no, Chucky did it all on his own. And at that point, I was like, we just talked about this, but that was the point where I fully was on board with this kid has a problem, because that should be like terror screaming. If your dog gets up and walks to go watch the 9 o'clock news, he should just be screaming in terror.
Yeah, lose my damn mind.
So she puts them both in the bed and shuts the door and goes back in the other room. And then we see a doorknob open, and we hear a little creepy doll feet. Like, and I love it so much. It is so creepy and so ridiculous and wonderful.
Yeah, her hanging out in the dark. And then she gets a phone call from Andy's mom.
Which builds up to be the resolution of a jump scare. Like, you're waiting for the shit to hit the fan, and then the phone rings real hard and she jumps. It's really nice.
Yeah. But then, here's my thing. So Andy's in bed by 9, right? That's established. Yep. There's clearly like a wipe of like sometime later. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say it's at least an hour. So now it's 10 o'clock. Yeah. Where is she working? That store is still open in like the seedy part of Chicago.
Yeah, I don't get that either. And I also don't understand why the store looks so nice if it's in the terrible part of town that you wouldn't want to be at after night.
That's not there.
I don't. All of that is weird. I had the same thought. Like, I know it's a big city, but most stores, 9 o'clock on a weeknight.
Yeah, 9, maybe 10, maybe.
Yeah.
But like 9 o'clock is usually when stuff closes. I also think the mom kind of looks like an older Elizabeth Shue.
Yeah, I guess I could see that. So anyway, she calls, and then they get off the phone. Like, how's Andy doing? Blah blah blah. And they get off the phone, and Maggie is standing there and has noticed this huge mess that has been made of the flour. She heard a crash in the kitchen, which is what made her investigate it, and it was this flour that got knocked over, like flour flour, baking. So they have the conversation. She goes to clean up this mess, and then she notices what look like footsteps that lead to this decorative item in the kitchen. And she like yanks the thing away, and there's nothing behind it. And it's like, oh, okay, there's no one back there. But what did she expect to find? The thing that she moves is like 6 inches wide and 3 feet tall.
But it's like next to other similarly shaped things.
Right, but did she really think there was like a full-grown person hiding behind that? Like, how would that be the case? Or is there like a raccoon?
And even so, what was her plan?
Yeah! Or did she think a raccoon invaded the house in Chicago? Like, what do you think is back there?
A raccoon climbed 6 flights of stairs.
Knocked over some flour and hid behind a vase. But what else would it be, other than those 2 explanations?
I don't know. But she also... So she's like, oh, whew, I'm scared half to death. And I was like, oh, shit, here we go. And she turns around and gets hit in the face with a hammer with no blood and no scream.
A toy hammer.
How much of a toy was it? It was like metal.
It was from the Chucky toy.
Yeah, but like those toys were kind of like Dad's old like tank toy. I use that term.
I don't know. This is at most like a 2.5 ounce hammer. But I think it was more that she got startled than anything else.
Cause it's metal at least. So he hits
Yeah,
her with
yeah.
a hammer. She doesn't scream. She doesn't really bleed, but she does throw herself out the window. That's 6 feet behind her.
It's more than 6 feet. She goes all the way across the kitchen. It's more close to 10.
It's like me being over dramatic when my friend kind of nudges me, and I'll throw myself onto a chair.
Right. It's the kind of thing you wish you could do at your friend's house where, like, if windows were free and you would jump out of them like in an Old West movie. Where
Oh,
someone
I would
gets thrown
love
out
to
the
do
front
that.
Of the saloon. Yeah, where someone would fake push you and you would be like, "Booga!"
So then Andy's mom, who we haven't talked about, but is a friend of the show.
Oh?
Did you not notice who she was?
What's she from?
I'll give you a hint. Gracie.
Oh, she's the scientist in Star Trek 4, the one with the whales?
The one with the
wow,
whales.
Okay. Yeah. That is the official subtitle of that movie. I will hear nothing different.
Oh, yeah, no. So she comes home.
Also,
Yeah,
just so briefly, could, like, all of the actors that I like who are over the age of 60 just stop doing, like, crazy conservative nonsense rants on Twitter, please?
Who now?
Shatner!
Oh, what do you do this time?
It was just, like, a whole day of, like, SJW nonsense. Can we just stop? People, like, you are no longer you. You know that, right? Like, you have a responsibility to be this version of you that we've created in the public conscience for the last 50 years. I'm sorry, but you achieved a special level of fame. You're not allowed to be an asshole.
Was it against gays? Because that's even ruder to Takai.
I don't know. The two of them don't like each other, and I'm sure there are good reasons for it. Yeah, Takai didn't invite him to his wedding.
Oh, shit. I didn't realize.
Yeah. Anyway, off my soapbox. But just, if you're listening, beloved actor from yesteryear, could you just not?
I don't know. Yes, I agree with that, but also I like knowing who's a shitbag.
I just don't be a shitbag, is what I'm suggesting.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
suggesting they just don't be a shitbag.
Okay, fair enough. So she comes home, and there's a police barricade that not a single policeman stops her as she ducks under the line and runs into the apartment building.
Yeah, there isn't even the cursory, like, this is my house, what's going on?
Until she gets upstairs. She, like, runs into her apartment, and then someone's like, whoa, what are you doing here, lady? And I was like, there should have been at least 8 other officers who asked her.
Well, this whole police investigation is ridiculous because later, when she starts yelling at them, she's like, all right, I want you out of my house. And they're like, all right, pack it up, boys. Super not how that works.
That is not how a police I hope that's not how a police investigation works.
Right, like, there's a guy there with a fingerprint kit.
Otherwise, we need more murders going on then. If that's all it takes to get excuse me, this is my home. You need to leave.
Yeah, I realize that you have an alibi, but your child doesn't, and also we need to figure out what happened here, unless your friend just decided to take a header out of a fucking 6-story window for no reason.
After throwing flour around your kitchen.
So the police officer is like, hey, there's these child-sized footprints in the flour on the counter. Boy, isn't that unusual, ma'am? And then she's like, what are you suggesting?
He has no chill and no tact.
He doesn't. But also, the fact that he goes, I already checked his closet and it's not him, so it must be something else. Why did you phrase it that way if you don't think it's the kid?
I know. Well, he also, he's like, oh, your friend's dead, by the way. And she's like, what? And he's like, yeah, she died, jumped out the window. Anyways.
She fell 60 feet to her death through a car.
Yeah. Like, bro, there's no sensitivity training, apparently.
No.
So Andy comes rushing in with Chucky, and the police officer, detective, whatever, looks down and realizes there's a pair of shoes he hasn't accounted for. The ones Andy's been sleeping in. Because pajama sneakers are a thing in this universe, apparently.
Sure.
I don't like sleeping in socks most of the time. I can only imagine sleeping in sneakers.
I mean, to be fair, when you were a kid, you had footy pajamas.
Yeah. I guess when I was a little kid, there were like footies.
Yeah, I think that's what we're working there. Also, sorry guys, I realized that I didn't have my microphone hooked up correctly because I'm an idiot. So it will sound better from here on out. But I apologize for the way I sounded in the first half of this. Should have realized when I was muting my microphone to take a drink of water and still getting audio gurgles that was a thing. But again, I'm an idiot and it's been a long day and I have no air conditioning in August when we record these, so it's very hot for me.
The other thing that like should be a big old red flag for the detective who can't detect anything. Doll feet are really tiny. like tinier than human feet.
Yeah, although Chucky is an enormous doll, which I think is one of the weirder things about it. That like, why would you want to have a doll that is the size of your child?
No, that's a common thing. Like my size Barbie.
I guess, but it seems pretty weird to me.
But like even like the feet still aren't human-sized feet, even if the doll is big.
No, that's true. That's true. So they finally clear out. She kicks the detective out and everything, and then she takes the kid to bed, and she's like, "Look, you got to stop making up stories about Chucky, and everything you're doing is fine, but stop doing it."
I know you just watched, like you might have watched our family friend get thrown out a window,
right.
But like stop coping.
Right. And then she goes, "Do you want to stay in my room? Because I'm sure you're pretty scared." And he's like, "No, I've got Chucky to protect me," which is where I have a lot of issues with this kid because, like we just spoke about, he should be terrified.
He knows Chucky's alive.
Right. And the fact that he's just chill with that is weird as hell.
Yeah, not into this game.
So they go to school the next day, except after the mom drops him off, Chucky, who Andy's going to bring to school, which like, that seems wildly inappropriate.
Well, someone else was bringing a doll to school, so I'm guessing it was a show and tell thing.
Maybe, but in any case, he's carrying this doll that's as big as he is. She drops him off at school, and then Chucky apparently tells Andy that he's supposed to skip school and go help him on this mission. So Andy, carrying a doll as big as he is, gets on public transit in Chicago, and nobody bats an eye at this child by himself carrying a huge doll.
No one at the school noticed this kid walk into the school and then walk out of the school after everyone else had entered and school started for the day.
Yeah, there's just way too much nonchalance about this kid. I'm sorry, but it's ridiculous.
It's too much hand-waving.
So Chucky tricks him into taking him to where his partner is so he can murder him. And the kid's like, "I have to pee, so I'm going to just do it on this homeless encampment that we've encountered. Stay on this chair that we found, Chucky." And the kid goes around the corner to pee because he's afraid of Chucky enough that he can't pee next to him. I don't quite follow.
He's pee shy.
Oh, he's got the old shy bladder.
Yeah. But it's literally like if a little kid was to describe like the old mean man next door house, it's a tall like row home apartment looking thing with no other houses around it, surrounded by a junk heap.
Yeah, it's very much out of Dennis the Menace.
Yes, exactly. So Chucky goes in, and this is the instance where you realized, oh, this is Chucky murdering. Like Andy is 100% not the murderer, and he blows out the pilot light on the stove and turns the gas all the way up, and within a matter of moments, the place is full of gas that no one can smell.
Yeah, no, it's quite ridiculous how much gas fills this place.
Because here's, like, I moved into an apartment back in October. I'm still there. And it has a pilot light on the stovetop. And I get weirded out by, like, turning it on and smelling that smoke initially. So what the hell is this dude doing that his house is full of it and he doesn't notice?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, he does do it in the kitchen, which is well away from this guy's bedroom. But later, when the guy's like hunting through the house, he definitely walks into the room and would totally smell this.
Yeah. So he his partner fires the gun, and it causes the second awesome practical explosion in the movie.
The most ridiculous one, though, because it blows up an entire house.
Like, we say house, it's more of a building. Like, it's not just like a little house. It is a full like 4-story building that comes toppling down.
And it gets turned to matchsticks. I mean, like, destroyed.
Big Bad Wolf
splinters.
stats up in here.
Yes, absolutely. So somehow he ends up in jail.
Star wipe.
Yes, like I legitimately thought, like, I was going, wait a minute, did I miss a scene? And I like rewound, like, did it skip? Like, I'm scrubbing through the video. No, it just goes from the explosion to like the kid got picked up by the police and he's in jail with Chucky.
Not even that. We cut to the mom coming into the jail, and she's like, "I came as soon as I got your call." And he's like, "Did you go to the school to pick up your kid?" And she's like, "No, why would I do that?"
Meanwhile, he knows the kid isn't at school because he's in an interrogation room with Mustache Cop, who is interrogating a child without the child's parents or a lawyer present. Hello, Miranda rights.
Boom, lawyered.
Not even Miranda rights. Sorry, that's the wrong thing. But also, like, you cannot do this. You cannot question a child without its parents or a legal guardian of some type. Like, you cannot do that. Are you
Not a
kidding
thing,
me?
bro. Not a thing.
Mustache Cop, we were all pulling for you.
I think it's just another chance for someone to comment to like imply that she's a bad mom.
Oh, they fully get a psychiatrist to come evaluate the kid who's just like, hey, lady, your kid's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Hey, I'm from the local asylum. Maybe you should spend a few days with us.
And I know you guys are out there thinking, like, well, that's kind of a mean way to refer to a psychiatric ward as an asylum. Like, it's 1988 in this movie. That's well past. No, it looks like Arkham Asylum at this place. The paint is peeling off the walls. There's kids in straitjackets.
It's horrible looking.
It looks like...
I'm waiting for Harley Quinn to, like, walk around the corner.
Yeah, it looks like the type of building that 30 years ago they were doing horrible things to disabled people and they shut it down and now like a bunch of kids broke into it and there's a bunch of demons inside.
Yes, 100%. It is that movie. So mom gets real savage with her kid. She's like, no one believes you about Chucky. And I was like, oh shit. She's like, hey mom, they all think you're a terrible mom. Do I want to like cool it on the being so harsh to your kid thing?
Well, especially when the kid starts shaking Chucky and being like, wake up, stop doing this. It's like, where did he learn that behavior?
I learned it from watching you, okay?
Exactly. So, cut to kids go into the asylum for observation for a couple days, and mom goes home, and she picks up the Chucky box, and the batteries
This is
fall
the
out
most
of it.
iconic scene to me.
Yeah, it is really great. And so she has this really great moment where the actress is playing several emotions at once, and it's really, really awesome. And she picks up the Chucky doll, and she like feels for the battery pack in the back, and as she's about to she flips the compartment open, and then the head spins around and does the, hi, I'm Chucky, you want to play? And it's so awesome.
Yeah, it's because she's like talking to the doll like, oh, maybe it is real. I'm being crazy. And the whole sequence is just like a journey of emotion of her like, oh my God, my son was right. Oh my God, this doll's alive and talking to me.
Exactly. So she drops it and he falls under the couch, and then she goes face first to look under the couch, which I was like, surely she's going to get stabbed with she's going to stabbed with a knitting needle or something. I've seen what this happens. But she doesn't. Chucky's like playing possum, and she picks him up.
He's playing Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, exactly. And she's like, I need you to tell me what's going on or I'm going to throw you in the fire. And she picks up a single regular size match, flicks it on the box, and throws it into the fire, which immediately looks like the cooking fires in Beauty and the Beast kitchen. Like the biggest fire I've ever seen.
Not even the cooking fires. It looks like when the people invade the castle and the oven comes to life to scare them. And it's like, ah! And there's giant wall-sized flames. That's what happens. Although it is a gas fireplace.
I know, but it's still absolutely ridiculous that she throws in a single match and it's like whoosh and 6-foot flames. Yeah. At which point Chucky comes alive and is like, bitch, I'm gonna kill you, and starts fighting her. And I will say, massive credit to this actress, because it has to be difficult to make it look convincing that you are struggling to beat up a doll.
You're being overpowered by a doll. It's gotta be hard. Also, this is my first continuity moment that it sort of gets explained later. All of a sudden, Chucky has human teeth, like real teeth and a real mouth and a real gullet. Yeah. As opposed to before when it was very clearly like sealed and it was just a little like pocket that was opening and closing to talk.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of leaps in logic at this stage of the game.
Yeah. I also, like, if I were her and I dropped a talking, like a evil magical talking doll under the couch, I'd just like set it on fire and hope for the best. Like the couch. Like that couch is going up in flames.
Absolutely. It's forfeit.
Oops. Sorry. Sorry, everyone.
Better luck next year. So Chucky escapes and she goes to tell the cop what's going on. She's like explains this whole thing with the batteries and like, oh my God, he's got to be real. And again, like, this cop should be a little more on board with this, given that, you know, he saw a weird seance ritual happen not 2 days ago.
And now 2 people are... Wait, would you think it was that soon?
I don't know, less than a week.
Fair enough. She also has a really great... What's her name? From Pawnee Today?
Joan Calamezzo.
Yeah, she has a great Joan Calamezzo moment where he's like, I'm done talking to you, and turns to walk away, and she grabs him and is like, don't you walk away from me. And then she walks away from him. And I was like, lady, what was the point? Just walk away.
And she's like, I'm going to go find the weird, toothless, homeless person that peddled this Chucky doll to me. I'll see you later. And he's like, that's a really bad area. You shouldn't go there. And again, like, presumably she's aware of that, given that she works there.
Yeah, it turns into Adventures in Babysitting. Brenda in Adventures in Babysitting moment.
It really does. But so there's this weird montage where she's like pantomiming toothless person with the cart to all these homeless people. And like, I thought it was a fluke, but there's 3 or 4 attempts at this, like pointing at her mouth, miming pushing a cart, and them shaking their heads at her.
I don't know why they chose to do that.
No. So she finally tracks this guy down at this homeless encampment, and
more of a Hooverville, I'd say.
Yeah, okay, it's a Hooverville. And she's like, hey, you know, where'd you get that doll? Tell me what happened. And he's like, what are you going to give me? And she pulls out, I don't know, like $7. And he's like, that's not enough. And then he just starts to try to rape her while a bunch of people cheer her on. What is this movie? Where did
all
that
of a
come
sudden,
from?
A hard left. And because the mother is written like a Japanese feudal paperador, she can't fight him in any way.
No.
And it's just like, oh, well, okay. Yeah, this is happening now.
I had a lot of issues with this scene popping up out of nowhere. Like, a lot of them. You know, try to steal her coat?
Yeah, I guess, you just don't write that she hands him her purse. Write that she hands him some cash, and he's going to take her purse instead.
Right, and start rifling through it. Or like, oh, I'll take that jacket, and start yanking the jacket off her.
Your jewelry, something.
I super didn't want him to push her onto the hood of a car and then hear a zipper sound. That is not what I needed.
Yeah, didn't need to happen in in your talking doll movie.
No. So the cop intervenes very quickly and punches the guy and is like, tell us what happened. And he reveals that he found the doll at a burned out toy store. And then the cop explains all the stuff to the mom about what happened in the beginning of the movie that we saw that she didn't. And then he reveals that, or it is revealed rather, that Chucky is trying to go at Chucky clearly killed his old partner and has also vowed revenge on this cop. And she is just very casually hanging out with this guy. Like, sorry, but super don't want to be anywhere near you because you're obviously marked for death.
It feels like a moment where she'd be like, clear her throat, take a step back slowly.
Yeah, like, well, good luck with all that. And
you have fun.
My son and I are moving to St. Louis. Goodbye.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna move to wherever the Lorraine Gary moved to in Jaws 4, 3, or whatever.
We're going to drive our car until it stops working, and just that's where we live.
The car's going to grow vines. That's just the cars now.
Yep, that's where it lives. So Chucky pops up in the back seat and starts fighting this guy. And I know this is a stupid movie, and I know that many, many people have made this joke over the last 30 years, so I don't want to harp on it too much. But it's very funny to watch adults fight with a doll. Like, the scene with
It's hilarious.
Yeah, the scene with her, at least, kind of, she got caught by surprise and wasn't even sure Chucky was alive. But at the point at which Chucky jumps over the back seat with a loop of wire and starts choking this guy and then stabbing through the seat, and then he's like climbing down by the pedals and pushing the accelerator. It's like, hey, bud, just turn the car off. Just twist the keys and then fight the doll.
Yep. Yeah, it's really easy. Parking brake, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
There's options here.
Or there's another scene or another part of this scene where Chucky is like pushing the accelerator down and this guy is like weaving in and out of traffic. And again, it's like, I know it's not good for your car, but you could certainly jam both feet onto the brake at once.
Or step on the doll. Just crush his face in.
Yeah, that
do that thing where the head caves in and he has to like pop himself back out.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I love the part where Chucky is in the back seat and stabbing through the seat, and he's like dodging left and right, and then it comes up from between his legs, and he like is popping himself in the air. Like, buddy, just pull over and turn off the car and deal with this problem.
And here's how 2017 I am. I was like, how is Chucky fitting under the driver's seat?
Because there was no electronics under there. It was not.
I was like,
seat.
you can't get under the driver's seat. I was like, oh, wait a minute, you totally could before.
Yeah,
You-
well, Chucky
things you dropped at the feet of your pedals could roll all the way back into the back seat.
Yep.
They didn't get lost.
They also, and I understand this is a problem with like a doll movie and needing to use, like, I believe some of it is animatronics and some of it is little people and like a mixture of things to actually make Chucky in the movie. But his size is wildly inconsistent because a doll the size that the kid had earlier could not have fit under the front seat. Chucky shrinks down a lot for this scene.
Yeah,
so
and
anyway.
then there's a bunch of times when they have like Muppet placement where you can't see the bottom of Chucky, you just see his top half where he's
Right.
really articulated.
Yeah. So they have a big fight and Chucky
He
gets
melts
away.
his cheek.
That's right, with the cigarette
It's
lighter.
very bizarre. So here's another big ol' friggin' inconsistency for me. Chucky's strangling him and he grabs the cigarette lighter and melts his cheek, and Chucky screams in pain. Then cut through the whole fight. He shoots Chucky. Chucky bleeds and screams in pain before that he goes, "You can't hurt me at all." And I was like, bro, remember the cigarette lighter like 5 seconds ago?
Yeah, you certainly screamed in terror then.
So then he gets shot and bleeds and goes to talk to the voodoo witch doctor. And he's like, I thought nothing could hurt me. And then this thing started bleeding. And I was like, but why didn't your cheek bleed? I'm so confused.
Yeah, the cheek
Where is the
melted
consistency?
Yeah. So after the car explosion fight thing, Chucky finds this cult leader, and then the mom and the cop rendezvous, and we have this cutting back and forth thing where the mom and the mom and the cop are like,
they're in Charles Lee Ray's apartment that is perfectly painted to explain that voodoo is what's happening right now.
Yes, he has this he's a very talented painter. He's got a whole big mural in his apartment.
That could be his backup plan.
And we cut to him with the cult leader, like you were just saying, and the cult leader is basically like, oh, you're turning into a human because you put your soul into the doll.
It's a weird, like, bass backwards Beauty and the Beast situation where he's like, you turned yourself into a doll, and now that doll's slowly going to turn more human until you're just a tiny little human. Because I noticed, I was like, Chucky now has hair eyebrows when before they were painted on.
Yep.
So I guess that kind of explains the teeth all of a sudden being real teeth.
Right. So,
But, like, why does it do that way? Why wouldn't he slowly turn into a doll?
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense at all. But he basically tries to convince this voodoo guy to fix him. And the guy's, absolutely not. Die. You're a crazy person. You perverted what I was doing.
You're a monster.
Yeah. So Chucky whips out a voodoo doll that this guy has lying around his house of himself.
Why do you have that at all, bro?
Yeah. And then Chucky starts snapping limbs, and his limbs just get like ripped apart. They're really
It looks
breaks.
really cool.
Yeah. And Chucky's like, all right, tell me how to fix this or I'll kill you. And he's like, no, okay, fine. You have to put your soul into the boy now. And then Chucky's like, sweet.
Well,
Stab.
the phrasing is the first person you told that you were a living creature is the only person you can put your soul into.
Right.
It's not just like arbitrarily. It's like it's arbitrary, but it's not like, oh, only the kid. So Chucky has the great line, "I've got a date with a 6-year-old boy."
Yeah.
Which would put you on some lists.
Yes, it would certainly do that. But I also love the like, all right, I'll tell you. And he tells him, and he's like, great, thanks. And then he stabs him anyway.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So the mom and the cop get there, and this guy's bleeding out on the floor, and he's like, his heart is real. Stab him get him in the heart, and he'll die.
Okay, sure. I guess that going with the whole reverse Beauty and the Beast situation.
Right.
Can you imagine a Beauty and the Beast where like they were turning into like horrifying humanoid versions of themselves?
That would be way entertaining to me. I would if that was the version that they made with Emma Watson, I would have been actually interested instead of actively disinterested.
It would look like they look like in Galaxy Quest when they morph that thing into the and it's like completely inside out, like from Alien Attack, extraterrestrial.
They try to teleport it, and it turns inside out, and it's just goop.
Yeah, and people are like, kill me.
Speaking of just goop, Chucky breaks into the sanitarium to get Andy, and the doctor who's running the sanitarium turns into friggin' Harley Quinn and is like trying to give this kid a sedative when he's like, no, the doll is in here and trying to murder us. And he's like, yes, time to sleep now, Andy.
He looks like a creepy Ed Begley Jr. to me.
Yeah. What's up, Ed? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, everything bagel.
I haven't talked about you in a while.
Hey, every chance we get.
Stop
everything
trying to
bagely.
steal our Twitter account. I know it's you.
Those cease and desists are real cute.
But this doctor, Chucky stabs him in the knee, and then once he falls down, puts this electroshock helmet on him and cranks it up to 11 and just melts the doctor's face off.
I'm like 70% sure that you cannot possibly do that with an ECT machine.
Well, it's not an ECT machine. It's
not?
It's an electroshock therapy machine.
Yeah, that's what ECT is.
Why is it ECT?
It's electrocognitive therapy, I think.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah. There's no way that. I thought you said EKG. I'm sorry.
No, ECT.
Yeah. But you're correct.
I don't
there's
think
no
there's
way.
a setting.
There's no way. There's a setting that they would do that. No.
It's like in Snakes on a Plane when he throws the snake in the microwave and hits the snake button.
Is that a thing? I haven't seen that.
It's a thing, yeah, because it's such a quick shot of him hitting the button. You have to like slow it down and pause it, but he hits the button that says snake.
Well, anyway, the guy's face basically gets melted, and the cops get called, and they show up, and Mustache Cop is already there, and Andy's mom and the other police officer whose name I've forgotten, not Mustache Cop, and
Mike.
I think that's right. And
Mike sounds right.
Mustache Cop is like, hey, bud, you got to come look in here and see this. And they open the door, and there's this, melted carcass of a human being. And he's like, I think the kid did it. And he's like, no, Mustache Cop, the doll is alive. To which point, Mustache Cop is like, okay, wow, I don't know what's happening over there, but you've lost it too.
Okay, cool. You're off the case, probably.
So Andy's mom and the cop are like, all right, he's not here. Where would Andy have gone? And she's like, I've always told him to run home if he needs help and safety. And
to the only other set in this movie we can afford to go back to.
Oh, definitely. And also there's a key under the mat, which, like, I know you live in an apartment building, but you live in a city, and clearly you're not doing so well. Probably not, like, the smartest thing you've done to just keep a key to your house somewhere outside.
Especially when the line could have been, yes, he does have a key. I work sometimes, and he needs to get into the apartment.
Exactly.
Like, why did it have to be a spare key?
I don't know.
So Andy goes home, barricades the door, and then hides in the closet with his Muppet Babies Playhouse. Did you notice that?
I didn't see that. That's awesome.
It was a Muppet Babies Playhouse he was hiding in front of.
That's very cool. I love the old people in the elevator. The Chucky doll, which at this point is looking pretty ragged, does like a Toy Story and lays in the elevator. And this
Andy's coming.
Yeah, exactly. And this older couple gets in, and they're like, oh, some child has left his doll in the elevator, Herman. And they get off on their floor, and he's like, just leave it. A kid will come back for it. And she's getting out of the elevator, and she's like, oh, it's such an ugly thing. And then it cuts to this very obvious ADR line from Brad Dourif, where he's like, fuck you, lady.
The only thing I do wish that we had seen him go into the elevator, hear the couple, and then go all Woody and Toy Story.
Yeah,
I would have liked that would have been a really cool thing to see. Today, I think they can do that easily. I don't think they could have feasibly in the 80s.
No, it was a little too advanced, I would guess. So he knocks out Andy with a baseball bat.
You're going to skip over the part where he somehow ended up on the roof and went down the chimney?
Well,
you're going to skip that part?
Okay.
Somehow.
Go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know why there's a what do you think the outside of this building looks like if every room has a chimney?
It's certainly not feasible for apartments to have chimneys, I don't think. That seems difficult to achieve.
But it's an old style elevator that it's got a great gate thing that you have to slide closed. And Chucky's in there when we last see him, and then all of a sudden he comes down the chimney, which means he got off the elevator onto the roof and down the chimney.
Maybe the elevator had roof access?
Would those style elevators have done that? That feels very exposed.
Idea. Yeah, it does.
It's all grates. It would have been like if the elevator isn't up there, it's just a big old hole in the ceiling.
Yeah, no, I don't know. That is true.
We get we get a stunt double, Chucky, dropping in and kicking out the grate, which is cool. It's a cool visual. And then he finds... So, Andy is in the closet. Andy is in the closet hiding, and he sees an RC car and a baseball bat and gets an idea. And I was like, oh, he's going to make him think he's in a different room of the house with the RC car.
Right.
Surprise him with the baseball bat. RC car never shows up.
No, I was really disappointed about that, too.
I was so bummed.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a real, like, Home Alone-y, pranky gimmick thing, and it was not.
Yeah, like he's going to bump into him, and it's going to be like he's stuck on it, like, what are you doing, kid? Because, like, that's a great way to hide the wires, too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm on board. It was stupid.
And Andy is no athlete.
He is not.
He goes to swing and just, like, completely goes way over Chucky's head.
Yeah.
Buddy, know your audience.
I mean, it's not like it's a hard doll to swing at. It's big and dumb and stupid looking.
Yeah. So he knocks him out, and he goes to perform the ritual to transfer into his body as Mom and the cop are, like, running up to, like, stop him.
And a lightning storm has conveniently broken out.
Well, I think that's what happens when you do that, because that's what happened the first time he did it.
Oh, you think the ritual brings the lightning?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. That would make sense. Okay.
That's what I would assume. So they, like, kick in the door to the apartment, and they're like, stop! And Chucky runs away, and then the cop gets... Here's the thing.
Chucky is able to knock out a full-grown man with this toy baseball bat, which seems, like, just from a physics standpoint, deeply impossible.
Like, I understand Eddie got surprised. Like, he tricked him. He filled the house with gas and made him shoot his gun.
Right.
He came up behind Maggie, the babysitter, and hit her in the head with a hammer.
Yeah.
This cop is, like, looking at him, and he's like, I'm going to hit you with a baseball bat, and that's going to best you.
Yep.
Which I lose respect for you, bro.
So the cop gets knocked out, and then the mom ends up shooting Chucky, and then, like, they have a little tussle, right? And Andy is utterly useless.
He's pulling a Timmy in Jurassic Park.
Or friggin' Demi Moore in Ghosts and just idly standing by. And
yes, that too.
Get your ass in the fight. Somebody needs help. You have them outnumbered.
She throws Chucky into the fireplace and puts the gate grate thing in front of it to trap him in there, and he's trapped, and it's great. And then she tries to get the matches, and they fall and scatter, and she's like, I can't reach them, Andy, please help. And he's just staring there all like a friggin' fish.
It's a Unix system.
Yeah, like, Timmy, she's fine, she's got this. Go get the gun. Go hand Larder in the gun.
Shoot that raptor, you idiot. But yeah, he is really frozen.
So they
like
set
a
him on.
statue.
He sets him on fire, and there's a great line. "This is the end, friend," and drops it in there. And this is when I realized there's a drafting table in their apartment. They run and cower from the flaming doll, and they, like, back up into a drafting table.
Maybe the dad was an architect. I thought this was a really ridiculous apartment for a working single mom in a big city. So.
And Chucky's gone.
They go to check on the cop who's, like, groaning in the bedroom, and she sends Andy to go get this first aid kit, and he goes to grab it, and then he notices, like, a scorch mark on the carpet in the shape of Chucky and no Chucky. And then we finally get to see burnt Chucky after the kid is kind of running for his mom, and burnt Chucky looks awesome.
We get a Jaws 2 moment.
Yeah, absolutely, a Jaws 2 moment. But Chucky looks really cool, all burnt out like that. And the mom just starts shooting him. She's like, taking off an arm, taking off a leg, taking off his head, just like.
So here's where they made a mistake that I don't think they realized they made. So when you make puppets like this, if anyone in the audience isn't aware, typically the way they make them is you make a metal armature skeleton, and then you wrap that in your latex or your foam or whatever you're making your puppet out of. So what they did was they just made one of their Chucky puppets and then, like, covered it in char and melt, which means the doll had metal skeleton armature in the hand for literally no reason.
Yeah, I noticed that too, because the doll
there's
looks
no
plush.
reason a doll.
Right.
Yeah, a doll wouldn't have had that. It would have been a melted, goopy wax, hand.
Yeah, because I guess they could explain it away with the he's turning into a human thing.
But that would have been a skeleton, not a metal thing. He chases them into the bedroom, and she tries to lock the door, and then he runs around to the bathroom door, and she's like, runs over to that door and is leaning, he's stabbing closer and closer to her face as she's leaning on the door. And I just kept being like, hey, Mom, maybe don't lean on the door. Like, this feels like where he's attacking.
Just maybe don't lean your face on the door.
Or any of you. You can hold him off. You can hold the door closed without putting any of your body on the door.
Oh.
Hold the handle.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know that Chucky has the body weight necessary to open a door, even if he throws himself at it.
Yeah. So that was dumb. And then Chucky runs in the room, and and she shoots the hell out of him.
Yeah.
And blows them all apart. And then Mustache Cop shows up.
Gotta love Mustache
And
Cop.
I love it. Bob Belcher shows up. And he's like, what happened? And he's like, Chucky's in pieces in the hallway. Don't touch any of them. And he immediately picks up Chucky's head.
And is like, what are you, retarded? Look at this thing. He's like poking at it. And he's standing next to a grate on the wall. And then suddenly the rest of Chucky's body bursts through that wall and starts choking him.
It's a real Nightmare on Elm Street ending, which is great.
It is, yes. So eventually they throw Chucky's body off of Mustache Cop and they shoot it in the heart and it goes flying against the wall like a Muppet,
and bloody.
Yeah. And the final line is like, well, now you can believe me. And Mustache Cop's like, but who will believe me? It's like, well,
God damn, are you kidding me?
You know what you're doing here, movie. Good gravy. But yeah, that's it. Chucky dies, and the kid. There's like one final shot where the kid peeks in the room, and you think it's going to be like Chucky's eye opens or something, but no, that's it.
Nope. So, fun fact: they recently made a Chucky movie. I think last year or something, where he came back. It was like sort of a reboot.
There's a Chucky movie that came out in 2015, I believe, called The Curse of Chucky, which is pretty good. It was on Netflix.
I think there might be one. Is there not one after that?
Well,
is that the one that ends?
There's one that comes out this year.
Oh, so that one, I guess. Then The Curse of Chucky ends with Chucky mailing himself to the original Andy.
Right. The new movie has the original Andy in it.
Oh, because I've seen that. It's a really cool ending. They drop off the box of this house, and you're like, who is this character that I've never seen in this movie? And then they pan up from the box, and you see Andy and his mom, and then a photo of Andy, and you're like, oh, it's Andy's house! And so Chucky, cuts himself out of the box, pops open, and then turns around to see Andy holding a shotgun, and is like, play with this, and just shoots him in the head.
I believe that's Curse of Chucky, which is actually is listed here as 2013 online.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it came out much more recently.
Maybe it was filmed in 13?
No, it says released on VOD in October of 2013.
Huh, I thought it was at least 15.
I did too. But that is the one, yeah, that is the one you're referring to.
That is a cool ending, I thought.
The same guy has written all of the Chucky movies, so there is some care and continuity given to the later sequels.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, they get ridiculous where he births a child and has a wife and stuff.
Well, he impregnates a woman, and it gets real hand wavy.
Yeah, I said births a child. I guess.
Yeah, he doesn't do that.
He doesn't birth a child. He creates one though.
He does kill Jennifer Tilly though, and turn her into a doll.
Yeah, Jennifer Tilly is super into being in these Chucky movies because she's in the new one too.
How could you not though?
I mean, yeah,
you get that
that's
gig.
true. That's true.
I'm set.
That comes out this October.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. The seventh one of these.
I wonder if they're ever gonna have a finality.
I don't know. I feel like you just keep making them forever. Brad Dourif just has to do the voice for you. His daughter was in the last one.
Oh, that's right. Was she the wheelchair girl?
I do not remember.
The lead.
I do not remember the details. Yes, that it was her. Mm-hmm. So we just babbled on about Chucky sequels. What did you think of the original Child's Play here?
I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun. I've seen bits and pieces over the years, but I don't know that I've ever sat down and watched the whole thing.
I've weirdly seen I think the third one where he's at a military camp.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen that a bunch of times for some reason. I have no idea why. It must have been on
maybe
cable a lot.
Oh, it was probably part of AMC's 31 Days of Halloween one year.
Yeah, that would make sense. But I think that's I think the third one is that's the third one. But yeah, I don't know. I've seen that a bunch of times. I don't know that I've seen all of these. but I've seen a good chunk of them. I honestly, like, as silly as it is to watch adults fight with a doll, this is a really fun movie. I would totally add this to my roster of like dumb stuff to watch around Halloween.
For sure.
Yeah, I really, really dug this. I didn't quite expect to like it as much as I did, but I did quite a lot. I would encourage you to seek this out if you've never seen it. And as far as the sequels go, I think it's diminishing returns as far as the actual scares. Although I wouldn't call this movie scary, so to speak. Although there's a couple nice jumps.
It's got a few jumps, yeah. I mean, I like, because I've seen Bride of Chucky. I think I've seen Seed of Chucky, or at least parts of it. I enjoy the silly, stupid sequels. I think they're fun.
Yeah, it's campy and thank you guys so much for listening to the show. As always, we really appreciate it. Quick shout out this episode for a gentleman who reached out to us on Twitter, Dave Dirt01, who was right behind a car with a license plate that was MAL-CHI while listening to our Children of the Corn episode, and was a little freaked out about Malachi being coming after him there. So thank you for reaching out. We always appreciate hearing from you folks out there listening to the show. It really makes us happy. If you are listening to the show and you do like the show, do us a favor and review it on iTunes. It doesn't take too long, and it really helps out the show. I know I keep saying it, but if you do it, I'll read it on the air, and I'll stop saying this once we get 100, I promise. So only 90 more reviews, and we'll be set. Don't forget, you can get at us on Twitter with our new Twitter handle, Dissect the 80s, DISSECT, the 80s. We're also on Facebook and Instagram at Dissecting the 80s, the full name of the show. If only Twitter extended those usernames by one character. And everything you ever want to know about the show is at dissectingthe80s.com. And lastly, most importantly, if you like the show, do us a favor and tell 2 friends. The best way to hear about new stuff is from your friends. So if you like us and you think your friends would like us, let them know they should come check us out. We will be back in 2 weeks with another movie for you.
We will be back August 28th with an episode of the Super Mario Brothers cartoon.
In particular, the one with the Koopa robots that also has Cyndi Lauper in it. If you'd like to watch along, I don't remember the title, but it has Cyndi Lauper in it, and we're running out of Cyndi Lauper related projects to celebrate our anniversary with. So that will be August 28th. Thank you guys once again for listening. I have been Trip Lano.
I will always be Andrew Lano.
Until August 28th.
Don't you forget about me.
Dissecting the 80s is a Chum Some of This production. Things we're gonna cut out in editing.
Well, the whole thing, there used to be, their story was like, I'm Molly from the Great Depression, and I'm so-and-so, and I came over on the Mayflower. So, they were, actual historical things, and now it's like, my name's Tiffany with an I, and I like to dance.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so, all actual learning.
Wait, why would a kid want to play with a doll from the Depression?
Because it had, a storybook and, pretty clothes.
Yeah, but, what kid wants to read about, Molly's parents fed her
Pull
cabbage
down the tab
water
to read about
exclusively,
smallpox.
and her 4 invalid grandparents stayed in one bed, and then one day...
The dolls still exist.
One day... But that's what that would be.
At least 10 years after the company started, so they've been around.
Her 4 brothers and sisters died of cholera and dysentery because her parents couldn't afford food.
They ran out of historical tragedies.
Molly has smallpox. Do you know what smallpox are? Probably because your rich-ass parents aren't vaccinating you anymore. What? Who is that for? I would be surprised to find out that kids loved it, but I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word for it. Yeah, but they switched to the much more logical branding of Tiffany with an eye who likes to dance. They ran out of dysenteried children to promote.